Yeah, that's right. I bet on Lehigh Binghamton. What you gonna do about it?
Well, it's that time of the year. You kind of got to.
I thought this game was a steal, and then now Lehigh's just doing stupid shit.
They're doing Lehigh. All right, you ready to go on?
Yeah.
3, 2. Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofict one, AJ. Joining me, as always, man with the numbers, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond, all hail the king of the links, the money train, Noah. How you doing today, bub, after a nice, long Thanksgiving weekend?
Hey, man, good to be back. Had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Got to see the family, girlfriend's family. Ate a bunch of shit. Took me 2 days to get my gut back to normal after, God, I tell you, Sunday, I've never craved vegetables so much in my life. I was like, I just need to eat a fucking plate of veggies. Like, put it in front of me. That's all I want right now. But yeah, no, it was a wonderful Thanksgiving. Glad to be back to the grind, back to normal life until Christmas rolls around, and then we'll just do it all over again.
No, definitely. And a great weekend in sports. Noah, bear down, go Cats. U of A beats ASU. Bears win, Packers win. The NFC North is heating up. We'll get to that in a moment.
Jordan Love got his turkey leg.
Jordan Love got his turkey leg. We'll get to that in a moment, Noah. But I think we got to just start right off the bat. We got to get into the world of college football and the insanity that has produced itself. And the biggest news, I think, coming out of this weekend, obviously, Noah, agree with me. The flavors for the Pop-Tart Bowl were announced this week. And obviously, the biggest news in sports right now, you got Sprinkles versus Team Swirls. Great lineup, in my opinion, of Pop-Tarts, Noah. No, seriously, though. What the hell has been going on with head coaches, dude? I mean, it's always been a bad time of year for, transfer portal, coaches moving and everything like that. And now, especially with the way the playoffs are set up and everything, it makes everything a little bit more interesting. I think we should go ahead and start off with the new leader of the family down there in LSU. Let's talk about good old Lane Kiffin.
I think it's no longer family.
I don't know. I want to keep it around a little bit longer until it is officially Lane Kiffin's family. I know he was introduced today. He already gave him a nice little fake Louisiana accent. So I think that's just something as a head coach you have to do during your initial interview.
Well, Lane Kiffin's actually from the South. Brian Kelly's from the Midwest.
Oh, I didn't know Lane Kiffin was from there anyway. But just a wild scene. Wild scene coming out of the Egg Bowl on Saturday. Lane Kiffin goes to his hot yoga classes, which obviously he does as a head coach. Does that with the family, has a meeting where they're quote unquote prepping for Georgia just in case. And then they have a meeting with the AD. It's not going the right way. And before we know it,
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Lane Kiffin's from Minnesota.
I was about to say, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I think it's just an LSU head coaching interview thing. But anyway, you got, Ole Miss saying, hey, we're going on a run. Stay here. Let's keep it going. You got LSU saying, hey, here's a shit ton of money, and we're LSU. Come on over here. They have a meeting, the AD and Lane Kiffin, and then all of a sudden, Lane Kiffin's walking into coaches' offices and saying, hey, I got a private jet going to Baton Rouge. Get on it, or there ain't a spot for you. And so he gets a couple of his coaches to come. He's getting booed. Ole Miss fans are booing him at the FBO. Shout out to Ole Miss fans. Completely necessary and completely justified out of them. Now introduced today, or yesterday, excuse me, as LSU's head coach, Noah.
Do you have that song come across your timeline? The Lane Kiffin is a bitch. Lane Kiffin is a hoe.
Yes, I did.
Okay, why did that low-key slap, though?
Hey, it was a good one. And, in the anger, in the pain, you can find the good art. And I think that's what that artist was going ahead and displaying there. But Noah...
I was unclear whether or not that was AI or somebody. I thought somebody actually created it, and then I saw it floating around on some other pages, and they're like, check out this AI created video. And I was like, well, the video was obviously AI, but I think the song wasn't, but I could be wrong on that.
Well, hey, someone had to tell the AI to make it. So shout out to whoever, quote unquote, made it. But I don't know about you, Noah, but this was the move itself. Like Lane Kiffin deciding to go to LSU over Ole Miss was not something that shocked me. It was kind of something I was preparing for, and kind of seemed like a done deal when, Lane started being a little cryptic about it, and then conversations were happening behind closed doors. To me, it just seemed like the natural evolution of this Lane Kiffin that we've come to know and hate.
And not to mention the AD at Ole Miss and the school kind of strong-armed him into this. I mean, when it came out that they were like, we need a decision now, and if you decide to leave to go to a rival SEC school, you're not going to be coaching in the championship and all this other stuff. It kind of feels like Ole Miss made their bed there. And I at the end of the day, and I said this before a week or two ago, I was like, I think Ole Miss would match whatever number salary-wise. I think they were prepared to do that. What they can't match is a guaranteed $25+ million a year that he's going to have to spend on NIL. And it's funny because Lane Kiffin's been outspoken when we started going through these changes in college football about, you're just turning this into a professional sport, it's ruining it. And now he's just going to turn around and prove his point. By saying, you're giving me the biggest, probably most years, the biggest NIL fund. Now, granted, there's some schools that might match that year in, year out. $25 million is about what Texas Tech spent. Look what happened with them. It's about what Texas spent last year. They didn't spend quite as much this year. And so the teams who are spending that number of about $20+ million or $25 million or a little bit more than that, clearly it's resulting in success. And basically they told Lane Kiffin, you're going to have a guaranteed at least $25 million in NIL to spend for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And they're guaranteeing that for 4 or 5 years straight. Lane Kiffin's going to turn around and win a national championship or two at LSU. Look, he did really great things at Ole Miss after, and he might jump ship. He did it at Tennessee. He went to USC. He was an absolute failure at USC. Then ends up at Ole Miss. Not the greatest start, but then this season, has the best season in school history for him. But at the end of the day, the NIL money's just not there at Ole Miss like it is at LSU.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, I imagine he's going to go grab 7 or 8 starters from Ole Miss and just bring them over. It's not very far to Baton Rouge.
No.
He's going to get them on a short plane ride over to Baton Rouge, and I wouldn't be surprised, depending on what happens, if Trinidad Chambliss gets granted another year of eligibility. I would not be shocked at all to see Chambliss, because, this guy, he won a national championship in D2, but Lane Kiffin was a coach who saw him do that in D2 and said, hey, come on over. And Ole Miss's only mistake this year was not having Chambliss start the damn season.
Seriously.
I think he'd be our Heisman winner if he started the season. But, he only played 9 games, so he's not really I think he's still in the top 10, but not in the top 5. That's not going to change because he only played 9 games. In a year where quarterback stats are down overall, Chambliss would have been a Heisman favorite, I think, if he played all 12 games for him. But anyways, that NIL fund that he's getting in LSU, it's not shocking because at some point, right, you have so much success and it's like, what do you want to do? Win national championships.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal. And if you're getting 12 to 15 million in NIL per year at Ole Miss and you're guaranteed 25 plus for the next 4 or 5 years at LSU, I don't think Kiffin necessarily wanted to leave, but when you start looking at where do you have a better chance at winning a national championship, putting together a national championship caliber roster, and not saying Ole Miss isn't there, but they're going to need to pull off some upsets through the playoffs this year. And next year, who knows if they're going to be quite as good. And so I'm not shocked by the decision. And I do think the AD and the school kind of strong-arming him into making a decision.
Yeah.
Really put the seal on it.
It did. And regardless of the whole, ultimatum and everything from Ole Miss, I think he was going to LSU either way. Whether it's after the college football playoff, before, or anything like that, I think he was gone to LSU regardless. And I think this did speed up the process. But
I beg to differ, because I do think if Ole Miss pulled off the unthinkable here and he didn't have to make a decision yet, and they make it to the national championship, win or lose, I think he might come back to Ole Miss in that scenario, because you're that damn close, and that's obviously going to help recruiting and all that. Now, if they're a first round exit in the college football playoff, I think he goes to LSU regardless. But
but anyway, like with Ole Miss putting pressure on Lane to make a decision, theoretically he would be about to coach, this team through however many games, however many more weeks. That's more time to talk to them, more time to talk to coaches. He's essentially building his staff and building people to transfer over. I mean, I don't hate the fact that Ole Miss, handled it the way that they did. I think part of that is on James Franklin continuing to move the goalpost. Jesus, we're talking about football. I can't think of goalpost. Continuing to move the goalpost on when he was going to make a decision and when that was all going to come out. And so I don't blame Ole Miss, because then they're also on a clock of, well, who's our head coach going to be if, LSU is going to leave them with their pants down. Unlike another school that just dropped their own pants and didn't have a backup pair to back it up, Noah, unless you got something else to say about LSU.
No, real quick. I was going to say, the problem for me is Ole Miss didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that.
I know.
Because you look at LSU would have waited. They would have waited, because the only school that they were competing with was Florida.
Yeah, and Florida dropped out of that race.
And then that comes out, and then Ole Miss kind of shot themselves in the foot by, ultimatum, whatever you want to call it, strong-arming him into making a decision. And yeah, he might have made the same decision, but if you're Ole Miss, now you got to imagine your chances of winning a national championship have significantly gone down.
Or this is the biggest chip on a team's shoulder.
It could be, but also the guy who put this season together, your best season in football history, now you're saying he's not allowed to coach. And that's the right decision. Once he announced he was leaving, now they didn't have to come out and say that ahead of time, but obviously you don't want a guy who's no longer your head coach coaching. That's just a bad look. That's a kind of pussy move, if in my mind at least. I think SVP said it perfectly. It's like, you're going through a divorce and then you're like, oh, actually I want to stay around through Christmas for the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he said, no, you go. He said it's like you're having an affair with the neighbor, and then you say no, and he's like, no, go figure it out. And I think that's the right decision, but I also don't think the correct decision was forcing the time frame on this. Like that's where I think it went wrong.
I get it, but these, and I think it's a bigger issue of college football and where college football is at with their schedule and everything. And this has been talked about to death, and we've done our fair share of talking about this to death. But the schedule is fundamentally flawed. The schedule is fundamentally broken, and the fact that signing day is tomorrow, and we still have one school without a head coach and with no signs of signing one anytime soon, and teams just making playoff runs with the portal opening up in early January. It's overall just not a good thing. Just not a good thing. That needs to change more than anything. But Noah, let's take our attention from the SEC to the Big Ten, where there is one team that thought it would be smart to, hey, let's go ahead and get ahead of the coaching curve and everything like that. Let's get ahead of the coaching carousel so that we have ourselves prepared. One of the first coaches fired this season, Penn State's old head coach, James Franklin, relieved of his duty back in October. And Penn State going for what seemed to be a Hail Mary to Kalani Sitake that appeared to have worked and appeared to have been a done deal. And the Mormon said, hold my Diet Coke. This is going to be fun. And so not only caffeine-free Diet Coke, excuse me, caffeine. I'm sorry. And Listen, Twitter, I just want to say shout out to college football Twitter, BYU Twitter, and Penn State Twitter for just keeping me alive the last 2 days. Everything has been hilarious. But at the end of the day, you get crumble cookies involved, and Kalani Sitake is going to be staying at BYU, going to coach the team through this playoff run and for the next 7 years on a 7-year big extension, including some NIL funds coming in as well. So Penn State really lost to Mormons and lost their head coach to Mormons and cookies. I mean, what does that say about this job, Noah? I mean, I haven't seen a job this toxic since the Panthers tried to hire a head coach, and then they got stuck with Dave Canales. And granted, he's been doing a fine job, but I mean, like, you haven't seen a job, like a big job like this toxic, this radioactive, I would say in 10, 15 years. I mean, it's been a long time since the school has been so unappealing.
Hey, man, Panthers control their own destiny. Don't sleep on it.
I know. I backtracked a little bit.
Most confusing team in the NFL. But
go T-Mac, bear down.
Yeah, no, this is crazy because Penn State fires James Franklin early on in the season to allegedly get ahead of the coaching carousel. And then here they are, the last kind of big-name school sitting on an opening, which is crazy. And
That's
then,
awesome.
Any guys they could have, like, and they've taken some big swings and they've just whiffed on all of them. Sitake, man, I saw something that was on is like on Kalshi. Sitake was at like 26, 28%, something like that. Then there were some other names down the list, and people were like, "Oh yeah, it's based on the rumors." A lot of people started putting money on that or doing whatever, and that doesn't work out. And now I think they're going to take a heavy swing at Josh Heupel at Tennessee.
I think it's Mark Stoops.
Well, no, they're going to take a heavy swing at Heupel first.
Heupel.
If that misses, I mean, it's crazy to think that James Franklin is somehow coming on top of this situation. Franklin landing with Virginia Tech, which actually I think will be great for him because if he can replicate kind of what he built up at Penn State when he took over, that was a job nobody wanted.
Yeah.
Because it was after the Joe Paterno shit, and Penn State was not really a job anybody wanted. Now, I think Penn State's a pretty attractive job, yet nobody's taking it, and it makes you wonder what the school's doing, their athletic program. And Franklin ends up at Virginia Tech, which, given what Franklin's done in his career, he can have a 2-3 loss season and be in the ACC championship game. You can't do that in the Big Ten.
No.
So he's got a better opportunity at Virginia Tech than he did at Penn State, which is weird to say at making the playoff. Am I saying he's going to have as good of teams at Virginia Tech as he had at Penn State? Probably not. I mean, maybe one year he put something special together. But I think he's going to have a better chance at making the college football playoff at Virginia Tech than he would have at Penn State.
Yeah.
But yeah, Penn State, oh man, it's like, what the fuck is going on there?
It really is.
Makes you wonder what the hell's going on at Penn State because there's clearly some issues there. We'll see what happens with that. And then I don't know if you got anything else to say on Penn State or.
Yeah, just the last thing on Penn State. And Road Dog, I'm still moving in, bro. We just moved in last week. And so the last thing I'm worried about right now is my decor in the studio. I got my computer working and the camera's running and I can hear Noah. Life is good right now. But hey, I don't know, man. I don't get what this is kind of how I've been wrapping my head around it is kind of like when the Titans fired Vrabel, the Titans weren't good when they fired Vrabel, but it was still one of those moves where it was like, yeah, I know they're not playing the best, but what are we doing here? He had such a good season last year, off to a little bit of a slow start this year.
Well,
but
yeah, that was right after they got the 1 seed in the AFC. Granted, the AFC was all weird and shambles that year, and then they lost to the Bengals.
Yeah,
in their first playoff game, but that wasn't on Vrabel. That was on Tannehill making some bonehead fucking moves. This season, I don't know. Fluky is. I'm gonna call it fluky as fuck for Penn State. Obviously, they come in as the #2 team in the country. Everyone's like expecting huge things out of them, and then they absolutely fucking flop. Doesn't help that Alar got hurt, but I don't know that Penn State's in a better situation after firing James Franklin.
No, God, no.
Think,
they weren't in the start.
And I think he's in a fine situation, right? Like Penn State, obviously more prestige than Virginia Tech has. But again, like I said, I think he's going to have a better chance at making a college football playoff with Virginia Tech than he would have staying at Penn State, because the ACC is weak as fuck, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. And in the Big Ten, you're not only dealing with Ohio State and Michigan now you got Oregon in the fucking mix. USC's looking really good. I think they have like the #1 recruiting class in the country coming in next year. So they're only going to get better. And then every fucking year out of the old Big Ten West teams, there's one team that's just like, hey, no, we want to fucking play ball this year. So
hey, don't forget Arizona State and Arizona the last couple of years making some good runs in the that's Big 12. My bad. Wrong team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and I think he's got a better chance to be at the top of the conference and make conference championship games, which then should lead to playoff berths, and we'll get into that later with the ACC. But
my last thing on this whole thing, and this is not anything that I've heard, anything that I know, and actually goes against things that have been said and like posted and everything, but I'm still going to go ahead and take my swing. You talked about, some of the big swings Penn State's going to take over the next couple of days, probably to try to lock down a head coach. I would not be shocked if Ken Dillingham is one of those names. I just wouldn't be shocked whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, I think he is very happy in Arizona. I think he enjoys Arizona State and what he's building. But that last press conference that he gave after the Territorial Cup, I know every ASU fan wants to spin it like it sounds like he's just, reminiscing about the last 3 years and what it was and where they are now and how we shouldn't take this loss that bad, even though it's the Territorial Cup. I know everyone heard it that way. The way I heard it as like, oh, he's going through his resume and how he would rebuild a program if some other school wanted to give him an offer. And where Penn State's at right now, they would have to give him all of the monies, all of them.
No, I think based on other comments Dillingham's made, I think he is very committed to staying at ASU, but
that's what I would do if I was committed somewhere. Like, that's what I would tell my boss if they were like, hey, are you looking at leaving anytime soon? No, I love my job. I'm not looking at leaving anytime soon, yada, yada. And then I'm dropping my 2 weeks notice on their door the next day.
Brings you back to Jed Fish saying he's committed to the Arizona program.
Exactly.
And then the next fucking day is on a plane to Washington without addressing the team. No, I do think it's going to take a really strong offer to take Dillingham away from ASU. Penn State has the ability to do that. They have the money. With James Franklin taking the Virginia Tech job, almost his entire buyout is going to be covered by Virginia Tech. That's how it was structured. If he did take another job within 48 months or whatever the fuck it was, that Penn State would cover the difference, which is very minimal at this point. So Penn State's really not out much money on Franklin. So I guess one thing they did right was the way they structured that contract, because he won't be making double salary. He'll be making, because I think he's at $7 million a year,
something like that.
Yeah. So Penn State's only going to be paying him like $1 million a year, so it's not like it's a big deal. They can go out and spend a bunch of money on a new coach. That's why I think they're taking these massive swings. And to your point, I got to imagine Dillingham's pretty close to next on the list. He's
got to be.
He'd pull at Tennessee is clearly their current target after Sitake didn't work out, and I'm sure they're gonna continue trying to poach coaches from other Power Conference teams. Funny thing that's clear to me in this is they don't have interest in Matt Rule, who was one of the original main names tied to this job when it opened up. Yeah. And I don't think there hasn't been anything about Penn State even talking to him.
Nothing. And I mean, there was some insider, I forgot who it was, put out a thing where it's like kind of where Penn State's at in the coaching stuff right now. And it's like Lincoln Riley pulled his name, and a lot of the Jimmy Sexton guy, that name's been popping up a lot. Jimmy Sexton, agent to the all of college football, apparently. But they're having trouble getting interviews with those guys, yada, yada, yada. And so I don't know. Penn State's in a very interesting spot. I am very, very excited to see what happens with them and see if any other big boosters from cookie companies, chocolate companies, I don't know, maybe Willy Wonka and fucking self will come out here and steal someone from Penn State, but we will have to wait and see. McCormick in the chat. What's good, brother? Hope you guys had a great Turkey Day too and a nice long weekend. But anything? What up?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting though, because we are gonna see a trickle down somewhere, because Penn State's gonna end up landing some power conference head coach.
Yeah,
some team is gonna be unexpectedly without their head coach. It's gonna be a blind. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a blindside for whatever team it is. Where it's like, oh, what the fuck, and then they're gonna have to go poach some coach from either another power conference or more than likely a group of 5 team that's not expecting that either way. And then if it is another power conference and that team's probably pulling a group of 5 coach, and then next thing you know, it's the same trickle down as like when Saban retired.
Yeah.
Somebody who's not expecting their coach to be gone is probably going to have their coach gone to go to Penn State, and they're probably going to pay them way more money than they're worth, and we'll see what happens.
I would agree. It's been an interesting carousel and continues to get even more and more interesting. I'm very excited for conference championship weekend, Noah. I cannot wait for it. And got a little bit of stakes on this one. I feel like all the I would agree. A lot of the G5 coaches have started to take jobs other places. A couple just got hired today, but we'll see. Cool, dude. You want to get into the rankings? Because the college football playoff committee decided to put some funny numbers next to names.
Oh, yeah. And there were a lot of, I believe, statements made with this rankings and the movement in it entirely.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into it, Noah. Let's just stick to the top 15 here, because I will take a moment. Shout out Arizona, going to be ending
I was just going to say, let's go through 18 at least.
I was going to take a moment to shout us out because fuck USC. Arizona, number 18, going to be ending the season, number 18. The highest. Maybe higher, depending on what shakes out. But the highest that I can remember us even think about finishing in the last since I've been in college.
Well, no, 2 years ago after beating Oklahoma.
Oh, you're right.
I think we finished ranked 9 after beating Oklahoma. I don't think we'll quite get up to 9. But crazy to think, with 2 different coaches, Noah Fafita could be the only quarterback to ever have 2 10-win seasons at Arizona. And I imagine he'll be back, because I don't think anybody's looking at him in the draft. So
not right now.
One more year of Fafita, he'll have every single quarterback record in the entire history of Arizona football. And we got a freshman 4-star recruit coming in next year to sit behind him and hopefully be ready to go, who is 6'3", by the way, and Fafita's sitting at a ripe 5'9". So not saying he's the same as Fafita skill-wise, different style of quarterback, but hey, he'll be able to see over the offensive line, maybe.
Before we dive deep into these rankings, Noah, my last thing on the football, like the college football coaching thing and everything. Do you believe the stories that Juice Kiffin is not really Lane's dog?
Yeah, they came out and said it. He doesn't live.
Wow.
He's got a handler. He's got a handler that he lives with. It's not actually Kiffin's dog.
Wow.
And then now you've got Juicegate, where people are like, "Oh, is he coming to LSU?" And it's like, no. That's not actually unless it is Kiffin's dog, and he just pays a handler, like if
to watch it and stuff.
If he technically owns the dog, which may be the case, but that's going to be some controversy.
Oh man.
Start calling the Ole Miss LSU game, because they do play next year. Call it the Juice Bowl.
Opening line.
LSU plays at Ole Miss next year, by the way.
Yeah.
Circle that one on your calendars whenever that date's released.
FanDuel dropped a line already. Has LSU 1.5-point road favorites.
They're at home.
Oh, they're at home. My bad. I read the line wrong.
Oh no,
So one and a
LSU's
half home.
Sorry, I was.
Yeah.
You said okay. Never mind. I heard you wrong.
But LSU 1.5-point road favorites. You can go get that line right now. We will be tracking it throughout the season. But anyway, Noah, college football playoff rankings. They have dropped. The committee is awaiting championship weekend, and then we will kind of understand where we are at. Let's go ahead and start number one. We got the Ohio State, Indiana at 2, no movement there. Georgia at 3, Texas Tech up to 4, Oregon at 5, Ole Miss at 6, A&M at 7, Oklahoma at 8, Alabama at 9, Notre Dame at 10, BYU at 11, Miami at 12, Texas at 13, Vanderbilt at 14, Utah at 15, and USC sitting at, fuck USC. Anyway, Noah, where do you want to start on this one?
Well, obviously at the top two teams, no movement, no surprise, right? I mean, this is kind of how it's been the last 4 or 5 weeks. Ohio State, Indiana, and there's been no movement. They keep winning. They both keep just blowing everybody out. Georgia at 3. A lot of people probably would agree with that. I've personally got Tech at 3, Georgia at 4. Again, not a huge difference there, but I do want to say here, big statement by the committee putting Texas Tech up to 4, because that lets you know if Tech beats BYU in the Big 12 championship, Tech's getting a first round bye.
For sure.
I also imagine Tech being all the way up at 4 now. If BYU were to beat Tech in the rematch here, I don't think you're dropping the number 4 team out of the top 12 or out of the top 10, 11, whatever it is with the auto bids. So the Big 12, I mean, and I'll rope BYU into this at 11 too, right? BYU sitting at 11 is saying if they don't beat Tech, who, by the way, is like a 12.5-point favorite in this game or something like that. If BYU loses, they're going to have another 2-loss season. They're going to be 22-4 over the last 2 years, and they're going to miss their second college football playoff at a 22-4 record, and they're going to feel slighted. But if BYU beats Tech, this is telling the public that there's going to be 2 Big 12 teams in this.
Yeah.
Because Tech is still getting an at-large bid regardless.
Yes.
Regardless. They're sitting at like a 99.9% chance at making the playoffs. And that could get interesting. So that's when we go into conference championship week, that's going to be a huge – that's one of the most important games to keep an eye on. But yeah, if Texas Tech wins, they should be pretty much guaranteed a bye because Oregon's not playing, Ole Miss isn't playing, Texas A&M isn't playing, Oklahoma's not playing. Alabama's not going to jump all the way from 9 into the top 4.
No.
I don't think.
Unless they beat Georgia.
They might. Well, if they do, Georgia's dropping out, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Tech wins, they get a bye. They lose, they should still be in. And BYU will be in too because they won the Big 12. So interesting there in the top 4. That's kind of got what I got with the top 4. Obviously, that list of teams underneath them, I kind of group them all together, and the teams that had a really good season are not playing in their conference championship games.
No, absolutely. And I mean, a great conference championship slate we got set up for ourselves. Excited to go over that this week with you, Noah. But no, I think it's a good top 4, like you said. Texas Tech finally kind of getting that recognition of a top 4 team as you and I believe that they have demonstrated this season. Georgia's.
Sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
I also think, just touching on the top 2, Ohio State, Indiana, as long as this game is not a blowout,
yes,
whoever wins is going to be number 1, and whoever loses will be number 3 to keep them on opposite sides of the bracket. I'm fairly certain that's what's going to happen unless we see a absolute routing, and then I could see the loser drop into 5 or 6. Then I could see the loser drop to 5 or 6. Or
what is
4? I don't think they'll drop the loser to 4, though. I think they might drop the loser, like if Indiana were to get absolutely waxed by Ohio State, I could see them dropping from 2 to 6 to, again, keep them on opposite sides of the bracket to give the potential of a
Of
rematch
another
in the
rematch.
national championship game. If Indiana routes Ohio State, I think Ohio State maybe only drops to 3. Again,
Yeah.
I think the committee is going to try to do whatever they can to keep those two teams on opposite sides of the bracket.
Oh, absolutely. Another rematch in the national championship game would just print money, as long as this one's good.
I don't think you want Indiana-Ohio State meeting in the semifinals.
No. Why would you do that? Not as good ratings. Not as good. Well, you want to get an SEC school in there. That's the only reason why you would do that. Yeah, that is the only reason you put them on the same side of the bracket. Anyway, keeping it moving, you got Oregon sitting there at 5. Ole Miss, interesting move. I think a hopeful move for schools like JMU and Tulane, whose head coaches have already decided to go elsewhere. And
JMU didn't lose their coach, did they?
I thought they did, didn't they?
Did they?
Let me double check myself.
I mean, Tulane and North Texas both did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it was just. I'm sorry. I might be getting JMU and North Texas mixed up. All right, I can't find anything. So
no, Chesney's still at James Madison.
Okay.
As far as
anyway, Michigan State, but I don't know. I don't know how I got JMU in there. Anyway, doesn't matter. But still, Ole Miss moving up despite the fact they lost their head coach and a lot of offensive staff. I know that the LSU is allowing the offensive coordinator to come back and do their thing. So good on them, I guess, for keeping him there. But I guess really just kind of shows how little of faith the committee had in Texas to pull off that win against A&M. Because A&M, this I don't think we see this much change in the top 7 if A&M doesn't lose to Texas last week.
Yeah, there's a lot going around with Texas. I'll touch on that because it's a tough one. It's a tough one, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, how can you, oh, you're just going to schedule a bunch of cupcakes in the non-conference because blah, 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 blah. Here's my problem with it. How many conference games does the SEC play?
They play a lot, don't they?
8.
Play 9, 8.
How many conference games do the Big 12 and the Big 10 play? 9.
9. Yeah, I thought so.
So you can't bitch and moan about your non-conference schedule and losing a non-conference game and that affecting you when you only play 8 games. And here's the thing. Texas lost at Florida. 3-9 Florida.
Yeah.
Or did Florida beat
Wasn't
FSU?
It?
They end up 4-8. I don't remember.
Let me double check.
They're either 3-9 or 4-8. It's not a good record. Not a good record. They lost to USF. They beat Texas. And so at the end of the day, stop bitching and moaning about your Ohio State loss. You couldn't beat Florida on the road, a team who's not even bowl eligible.
Yeah.
And yes, they had some great wins. They beat Vandy, they beat OU, they beat A&M. At the end of the day, there are arguments for Texas being in, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, I'm like, stop blaming it on the Ohio State loss.
Yeah,
you
lost
lost
to
bad. Florida. If you took care of business and beat fucking Florida, the loss to the number 1 team in the country wouldn't matter. Texas would be ranked 8 or 9 right now. They'd be ranked 8 or 9, right around where Bama, Ole Miss are sitting, right around where Bama, Texas A&M, Ole Miss are sitting. And so, if they had scheduled a 4th fucking cupcake game in their non-conference, let's keep in mind they played 2-win, 2-win, 3-win teams in non-power conferences in their other games. They got taken to fucking overtime by San Jose State or one of them. I think because they played
San Jose State. Yeah.
Who did they play? Sam Houston.
No, it wasn't San Jose State. No, not Sam Houston. They got blown. No, they won't beat them. Who was it? It was an embarrassing overtime game. Was it Vandy? No.
No, it was one of their non-conference games, was it not?
No?
I swear they struggled against somebody.
Oh, Kentucky was the overtime.
Oh,
And
anyway.
we just don't think of Kentucky as the SEC because Kentucky.
But,
Thank you,
still,
Road Dog.
you start looking at Texas's schedule and you start looking at games against like Kentucky, Mississippi State.
Thank you, Road Dog.
Those were not good wins. Those were not good wins. So yeah, they have some really good resume wins, but they have some really tight wins that are not good, which is why I've been so fucking down on Virginia and Georgia Tech all year because yeah, you're winning games, but you're beating shitty ACC schools by not much. And Texas struggled against some of the bottom of the SEC. They got some really nice wins in the SEC, and it's not because the SEC is so deep. But like, and then you lose to Florida, and at the end of the day, I'm like that Florida loss is what did you in for me if you're Texas. That's why you're going to be on the outside
Yeah.
looking in. I think the committee, to flip this, made a really big statement moving Ole Miss up a spot. Yeah, they're 11-1. You kind of have to. But I think that tells me, because I know a lot of people were drawing parallels to Florida State getting left out because their quarterback was starting quarterbacks out. Could you leave Ole Miss out based on speculation that they lose their coach and part of their coaching staff and whatever? And I think the committee made a statement that like, no, that's not going to happen. Ole Miss is going to be. They seem like they're treating it the same. They're going to give them the same kind of seeding that they would have, and yeah, they might get blown out in their first game, but it's there's so much SEC bias. Obviously, there's no question about that. The fact that they all seem to the entire year have to keep Tennessee or Mizzou in the rankings, which they did again, I think. Or the AP,
I think
did the committee have Mizzou in there?
I don't think the committee. I think if the committee had Mizzou, it was just that first week.
No, they didn't. The AP did, which was like, all right, why are we putting Mizzou at 25? They got 4 losses and haven't beat a single team with a winning record. Like, embarrassing. But yeah, I mean that's your grouping of teams there in what is it? Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Who am I leaving off of that?
Oklahoma, Bama.
Oh, Oklahoma. No, not Bama. Oklahoma. Those are your 4 teams. They're going to be in because they're in the top 12 right now. They don't play a game. They're fine.
I agree. And
get to Bama.
And real quick, to McCormick and Road Dog, I want you both to know that I am praying for the downfall of the ACC this weekend. I want nothing more than Duke to beat Virginia and to not have to suffer through watching an ACC team in the college football playoff. That's just my personal opinion on that. But you want to talk Bama, Noah?
Yeah,
Bama, Notre Dame. You want to just group those two in together?
No. I am not grouping any team with Bama because Bama is the most unique team situation, whatever you want to call it. So interesting, right? Because ESPN, they throw out their odds. They say Bama loses, they got a 36% chance of being in. You look at any fucking sports book, it's almost 100% certainty that Bama will be in the playoffs. Alabama is not going to be left out of the playoffs. And here's why. If the committee sets that precedent, the entire SEC is going to burn whatever structure is left to the ground. I'm not saying Bama shouldn't be left out if they take another loss, a third loss. But the committee's not going to leave Bama out. They're not going to leave him out. They may, if Bama loses in the SEC championship, they may just say, we'll give Bama the 12 seed.
Yeah, they'll be
2 conference winners ahead of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll even do that. Bama might still get the 10 seed if they lose to Georgia. They're sitting at 9 right now. You drop them to 10, it's 1 spot. Bama's not getting left out of the fucking playoff. They're not getting left out. I can almost guarantee you that. Because the implication, the reaction from the SEC, all of those teams are going to be, why the fuck do we even play games?
Yeah. Why? What are we doing here? What
And
are we doing?
they're going to get rid of their conference championship game if that happens.
For sure.
Like the SEC would pull some shit like that. They'd be like, we're not even playing a conference championship game anymore. Fuck you.
Fuck you. Best record gets it. Tiebreakers, all that. But
yeah, so that Bama, very interesting situation. But yeah, there's a next to zero. I'm not going to say there's a 0 chance. I don't want to speak in absolutes here, but there is a next to 0 chance. I would say less than a 1/10% chance that Bama gets actually left out if they lose to Georgia.
Yeah,
unless they lose by 40. Unless they lose by 40.
Yeah, another if it's a route or something like that. But again, kind of the Indiana Ohio State situation. If it's a route, okay, then maybe not. But if it's not, if it's a close game, then more than likely safe. By the way, McCormick, shout out to Syracuse for signing rapper Tusi as a new wide receiver. So congratulations to Syracuse. What a joke of a school. Anyway.
Why are we bringing Syracuse into the mix?
He said go Big Orange. And I've been sitting on that 2C thing, waiting to talk to a Syracuse fan, and then I realized they don't exist, and McCormick appeared. So I just wanted to take the shot.
I thought he was a Tennessee fan, but
is Tennessee Big Orange as well? I always kind of group that with Syracuse. I don't know. Some lady walked into the office yesterday with a Tennessee. Road Dogs from Tennessee. Okay.
See, come on now.
We were close, Road Dog.
Keep with. How'd that 21-point loss feel from Vandy? Probably not good.
Oh, not good at all. That was Diego Pavia believes he's winning the national championship this year, and you can't tell him anything.
There.
Anyway, you want to talk Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame's another very interesting situation, and here's where we're going to get some combination of Virginia, Tulane, North Texas, or James Madison. 2 of those 4 teams are going to be in. So then unfortunately, we're talking about 10 spots here because that's in its own grouping. I don't think Duke has a chance. I really don't. Well, unless James Madison loses. If James Madison loses, there's some world where a 5-loss Duke team gets the 12 seed and then just absolutely goes to the slaughterhouse in Eugene or in Athens, Georgia, or wherever else they might play. Nobody fucking wants that. If you're going to see a team get slaughtered, at least have it be a group of 5 team.
Seriously.
Don't send Duke to the slaughterhouse.
Because I can also like talk myself into JMU, maybe covering that spread or something like that, but I can't really talk myself into Duke, like if they like the sportsbook's going to post line at 41.5, I'm probably taking Oregon. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think Duke's only chance is winning that ACC championship game and then also needing a James Madison loss to Troy. They're like 28.5-point favorites, by the way. James Madison is in that game.
Right.
Yeah, Duke better be praying to some higher God. I don't know. But yeah, it back to the point here. You got this grouping. Notre Dame, who I would have assumed was in. Now you got an interesting development here, right? You're looking at 1 to 2 spots available. And again, this door slams the fuck shut if BYU beats Texas Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we're talking about a down the stretch here, Notre Dame, Miami, Vandy, BYU fighting for maybe 2 spots, 1 spot, and then all of a sudden BYU wins, and then we're throwing Texas Tech into the mix. Texas Tech's better than Notre Dame, better than Miami, better than whoever. They're taking over that. The head-to-head between Miami and Notre Dame is going to be very, very, very interesting. Yes, I'm putting 3 varies on that because on the field, Miami beat them.
Yeah.
Miami beat them. Um, Miami, the last 3-4 weeks has looked really good. Middle of their season did not look very good. Notre Dame is, since losing to A&M and Texas Tech, or A&M and Miami, has blown their way through their schedule. I think the way Notre Dame's playing right now, I think they're a top 5 team.
I'd agree.
The hard part is they do have those 2 losses on there.
They do.
And yes, those 2 losses are to top 15 teams. But it's going to be real interesting. And the committee keeping Notre Dame ahead of Miami, though. I do think Notre Dame's in. I put it at about 70-30 if they had to choose between the 2 of them. And there's a number of ads, head coaches, other people, whatever, on this college playoff committee. But it's like, what are they going to value? Where are they going to draw the line on this? Because Notre Dame's resume probably a little stronger than Miami's, but Miami does have the head-to-head. That's going to be a really, really fucking tough decision. I wouldn't be surprised to see at the end of the day, when the dust clears, one of these teams is going to be the 9 or 10 seed, and the other is going to be that first team out.
I can see it. I can see it. No.
The way Notre Dame's played the last 9 to 10 weeks, I don't know how you keep Notre Dame out of the playoff. And then the question becomes, do you draw back on what happened last year? With Notre Dame. They made the national championship game. They were the runner-up. They didn't get a super high seed last year, but they took care of business when it came to the playoffs. And you got a potential Heisman candidate in Jeremiah Love. You don't have one of those on Miami's side. Does the money, the viewership, does that factor in? There's going to be a lot of people pissed off either way if it comes down to Notre Dame getting one of those that last spot or 2, and then or Miami, and if one's in and one's out. 2 pretty big brands, but I mean Notre Dame's such a huge brand. I think the committee's going to find a way to put Notre Dame in.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
That's why I say 70-30, because I do think it's an either or. I don't think they're both going to find their way into the mix unless some weird, crazy shit happens in the conference championships.
And it's possible. Crazy, weird shit happens all the time. But anything else on college ball, Noah?
No, I don't. Ultimately, no, I don't think so. Vandy, I was pulling for you. I hope for it, but Vandy, I got to imagine is like a 1 or 2% chance at actually making the playoff at this point, because there's just too many teams in that same conversation with them that just have stronger resumes and tremendous season. They'll get a good bowl game. They'll probably blow out whoever they play in that bowl game, have a nice 11-2 season to hang their hat on. And hey, they flipped that fucking quarterback recruit from Georgia.
Yeah, I saw that. That's going to be, hey, Vandy might run the SEC soon.
So it's not for nothing. It's not for nothing,
No.
But ultimately, I just don't see a scenario where Vandy finds their way into the top 12.
And I just want Diego Pavia to know, from all of us here at the Arizona Cardinals,
He might win Heisman.
He might. Arizona Cardinals coming in, getting a Cardinals coming in and getting a Heisman champ in the draft. No, that seems to work out well for us. So let's go ahead and try running that back.
Do you really want Johnny Manziel 2.0? Because if he holds true to that arc,
But I think he actually shows up to meetings and knows his stuff. Does he probably do other things? Yeah, but I think he at least shows up to meetings. So, you know what? Yeah, I'll take a fucking swing at it, Noah. I've been living with Kyler Murray for the last 8 years of my life. I would love to have a little bit of excitement in the quarterback room.
I love Pavia, man. He's awesome. But, Vandy, you guys keep hoping that you're going to be in, but it's not going to happen.
It's just not.
At least you'll get a New Year's Six Bowl. At least you'll get a New Year's Six Bowl.
Yeah, you'll get a fun bowl. Bowl.
Vandy can't really say that they've done that in quite a long time, if ever.
No, honest to God, if Vandy does go to a New Year's Six Bowl, I might find a state where it's legal to bet on college props and just go and take all of Diego Pavia's overs.
Vandy could easily be playing like a Michigan or a USC in a bowl game, and It'll be a real fun one. It'll be a real fun one. I'm excited for what bowl game they end up in. It's just not going to be a college football playoff bowl game.
No. And hey, they've had 2 good seasons, McCormick. They've had 2 good seasons, okay? And I have no issue with a small quarterback. Look at Bryce Young. He's playing really fucking good. Kyler Murray's just not Bryce Young. I can't believe I'm comparing those two, but that's what I'm at in my life.
Pavia's 6 foot tall. Murray's listed at 5'11", but everybody who's actually seen Kyler Murray knows he's actually 5'9". So I'm going to go ahead and say Pavia's 3 inches taller because I think Pavia is a true 6 foot even. Kyler Murray is a absolute lie through your teeth 5'11". He's 5'9", and so I'm going to say he's actually 3 inches taller. But on paper, he might be 1 inch taller.
I just remember being at that Rams game last season, Noah, and Zane leans over to me and is like, "Where's Kyler?" He was like, "It was offense." It was funny as fuck.
That's the thing, though, man. Kyler Murray, you see him standing next to a 6 foot tall running back, and he's 4 inches shorter. And I'm like, oh, so he's 5'11". Okay, sure.
And no problem. No issue with the short kings out there or anything like that. I'm not that tall myself, but I'm not gonna sit up here. I'm 6'2", obviously, bro. No, I'm a generous 5'11". Generous 5'11" when I wear shoes. Anyway, I stand next to Noah. I stand next to my 3 friends, and I'm the literal pipsqueak. Anyway, I'm short as shit. But just when I'm hanging around you guys. Anyway. All right. Anything else on college ball, Noah?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
All right. Well, how about we take a little break and dive into the NFL?
Sounds good.
Cool. Before we do that, just want to take a moment. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help out a lot more than you know. I am the Brofict one, AJ. That's the Money Train. No, we'll see you guys in just a moment. Good.
Yeah.
3, 2. And we are back. What's up, D-Gens? Perfect One AJ here with the Money Train Noah, as we are getting ready to dive into what was a pretty exciting Thanksgiving week of football, Noah.
It really was. It was funny, they were talking about for the first game how the NFL expected that they were going to beat, if not shatter, viewership records on Thanksgiving Day. And given the games that we had, I didn't even see where the numbers were at, but given the games we had, I would imagine that they achieved that. Because what a fucking exciting slate of Thanksgiving games that we had.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, started from game 1 all the way through the end of the night, and I mean, didn't let up the entire weekend. A solid game on Black Friday, and then leading us into a nice Sunday slate. And then a Monday night game that happened. And I think some players will want to forget that one happened, but we'll get to all of that. You ready to get into it?
Yeah, and shit, this might have been my favorite week of the year so far in the NFL season. Like, there was a lot going on, a lot to talk about, lot of excitement. Yeah.
Yeah, great games, absolutely jam-packed. Let's go ahead and start back on Thanksgiving, Noah. Thursday, we got to start off with a tradition unlike any other. The Lions losing on Thanksgiving. Packers do beat the Lions 31-24 under a waning gibbous. I believe it was a waning gibbous on Thursday, Noah.
Yeah,
we are getting into moon tracking mode.
Right, yeah. No, the Lions win on Thanksgiving when it's a waxing gibbous.
Yes. And so this one was a waning.
Very courteous of them to not play the Packers last year on Thanksgiving during a waxing gibbous, and instead take a year off so that they can bookend that with Thanksgiving losses to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, shout out to the
By the
Lions.
way, did get his turkey leg this year.
He did. He did finally get that turkey leg.
Fuck you, Greg Olsen.
Even though he didn't have the most, the best stat line that we've seen, 18 for 30, 234. But then there's that other funny number, 4 touchdowns, Noah. That will go ahead and get the job done for you. Jared Goff, 20 for 26, 256 with 2 touchdowns. But to me, Noah, the big story of this game was something that you have been begging and waiting for all season long. And you saw it happen in this one. And that was Dan Campbell shooting himself in the foot, going for it too many times on 4th down. I was watching that game, Chris, Thanksgiving morning, Noah, and I was like, oh, at least Noah's starting off his Thanksgiving happy watching this one.
Yeah, I believe there were two of them.
Yeah.
Both of them, I think, 4th and 3 as well, which is, 4th and 1, I expect most coaches in plus territory to be going for it on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
You're sitting at 4th and 3 around midfield. Then it becomes a little bit of a questionable decision there because, at the end of the day, it's the NFL. 3 yards is a lot, like, significantly tougher to grab than 1 or even 2. Yeah. I think that was a huge difference maker in this game. Love's completion percentage, not particularly wonderful, but got it taken care of. I mean, he missed Bo Melton on a really easy touchdown on the field goal in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Packers defense for the second game against the Lions this year, just absolutely snuffing their run game. I think Gibbs had 44 yards in the first matchup. He has 68. Or am I reading that right?
Yeah, 20 carries for 68 yards.
Yeah, so, Jahmyr Gibbs is the 4th leading rusher in the NFL this year. And in 2 games, Packers held him to 112 yards.
Yeah. No, it was a great game from the Packers. They really performed on all 3 phases of the ball, and sometimes
two of 3. Special teams was a fucking problem, but that's nothing new. That is nothing new. Special teams has been a problem for 2 decades with the goddamn Green Bay Packers, and we have the highest paid special teams coordinator in the league, and it was still a fucking problem.
Yeah.
By the way, only team in the league that does not have a punt return for more than 13 yards. Yep.
That's a stat. That's a stat, Noah.
That is our longest punt return of the season, 13 yards. Terrible. You got McManus, who's kicking the ball into the end zone every single time, which now under the new rules brings the ball out to the 35. So basically, if you're playing the Packers, you're starting from the 35 every single drive. And it's not like he's even kicking it through the end zone. He just kicks it 2 yards deep into the end zone. Seems to be his sweet spot there. No, special teams was a mess, as it always is. But that's nothing new. Defense, I thought, played phenomenally. The offense was moving the ball perfectly well. Offensive line, I thought, had an actual decent game.
Yeah,
and they've been hit or miss this year, and
they handled that pass rusher very nicely. From the Lions.
Yeah, Jordan Love was not feeling a lot of pressure. He had time to throw. Lions secondary actually did okay, but at some point, not getting a pass rush home is gonna factor in. And yeah, this was a very reassuring win for the Packers. For me, at least as a fan, I'm like, okay, this felt comfortable. The Lions were. Final score is a 7-point game, but it felt like the Packers were in control of this entire game.
Yes, it definitely did. Didn't feel like they were letting the Lions in at all. Going to the next one, Noah, that midday game, Kansas City, Dallas. Dallas takes this one 31-28 in Jerry World. Every Thanksgiving, we're always reminded of that beautiful window Jerry has and the fact that no one can see in the afternoon. Always a good Thanksgiving tradition. Thank you.
And they always have the afternoon slate too, which is
always. But hey, got to have that window and that roof open so God can watch the Cowboys play football. Don't you forget it, Noah. Anyway, Dallas took this one, and I mean, it was a lot of Dallas being Dallas to me. High explosive offense. Get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. Get the ball to George Pickens, who is apparently trying to get a huge ass contract next year. And, the defense will kind of figure it out. I will say one of the better games I've seen this defense play against a Kansas City team that's continued to just struggle. And I mean, usually you see a stat line of 23, 34, and 261 and 4 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes is winning that football game, but just not against the Dallas Cowboys, not in Jerry World defense. Didn't really want to play football, it seemed like, on Thanksgiving. And Noah, it's been a while, but I think it's officially time to break glass because the Chiefs, I don't think, are making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because they've lost so many games to all the teams that are right ahead of them in the playoff hunt. And I got a coworker who's a big Chargers fan. We were talking about it today. Chargers being 4-0 after beating the Raiders. Chiefs sitting at 1-2 in the division. Chargers already having that one win. Then you look at conference record. Chargers 7-2. Chiefs are, I think, 4-5 in the AFC. So even if the Chiefs even the score against the Chargers, win another one, even if the Chargers lose to the Broncos, even if the Chiefs win their last 3 division games here against the Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders, they're both sitting at 4-2. Chargers have every tiebreaker over them. Yeah. Chargers have every tiebreaker over them. Jaguars have the tiebreaker in the head-to-head. Who else am I missing here as wildcard teams? I don't know that the Colts have a tiebreaker over the Chiefs, but the Texans do. Just about every team in front of them has the tiebreaker over them. So the Chiefs, I don't think they can afford another loss.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think they can lose one more game, and you look at their schedule, and it's not a particularly easy schedule down the stretch.
No, not at all. You got Texans on Sunday Night Football, Chargers the week after that, at Titans, which, okay. And then Broncos, home against the Broncos, and then you're closing the season out with the Raiders. So hopefully Broncos, 2 wins.
Yeah, or, sorry, not Broncos. Titans and Raiders, they'll win those. I think the Chiefs have to run the table because they have, because again, they have no tiebreakers. They have no tiebreakers. So
I don't think they can run the table, though. Do you?
It's the Chiefs. I'm not going to say they can't. But sitting at 6-6 now, They have to run the table because if they finish 10-7, they're going to get tiebreakered out of the playoffs, even if they have the same record as 3 other teams. They have to win every single game left on their schedule now. Yeah. I think that's the reality of the situation. And can they do it the way they've been playing? I don't think so. I don't think so. And Denver does not look impressive to me, so I don't think that's a super tough win. But I mean, the way that Denver seems to fucking stumble their way into wins, maybe. And if they lose to the Texans, it's done. It's done. The season's over.
Yeah.
You lose to the Texans, you go 6-7. That's right. They don't have, well, they would get the tiebreaker over the Texans if they do beat them. So they might have a chance, but you lose that game, it's over. It's over.
It's done. So Sunday is going to mean everything to the Chiefs. So might as well be a playoff game, as Noah has frozen up on me. Hope he will be able to reconnect. Bengals, Ravens. Oh, maybe it's my internet.
Well,
because now my other thing's not.
Do you want to talk about the flip side of that, though, in the Dallas Cowboys?
Uh-oh.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
No, not really. Every once in a while, you're coming in a little staticky, but...
All right. Well...
Anyway. I'm just going to mute Noah until he gets back. Oh, it might be my computer. Here, we're in. We back?
I think so. See me? You hear me?
Oh, I was lagging.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, see, it's your fault.
Okay. Literally, the first time in the show's history, the internet problem has been my fault. My bad, bro.
Hey, man. Last Tuesday, I had Cox come out. They replaced all the cables. Apparently, I was losing over 80% of my internet speed before it even hit my house. So that explains the last couple months or whatever. But I see McCormick's on my side. Anyways, I was going to say, we're not even going to talk about the Cowboys.
What do you want me to say about the Cowboys? They played just like the Cowboys. Yeah, the defense was a little bit better. CeeDee Lamb is playing impressive. George Pickens is playing for a big contract. I mean, they played. That was the first time I've been impressed with the Cowboys in a long time.
I want to talk about George Pickens.
Go ahead.
Cowboys might have 2 top 5 fucking receivers in the league.
Agreed.
And they got him for a bag of fucking peanuts.
Yeah, they got him for
nothing. Oh my god, dude! Pickens is, yeah, you know, he's fucking nutty. He's good. Like, and then obviously we know what CeeDee Lamb is. He's been battling some injuries or whatever, but Cowboys defense still sucks ass. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. That's why they're gonna miss the playoffs by a game or two. That's gonna be it. Because this is a dangerous team with the Cowboys. They're good. This offense. I mean, you got Javonte Williams, who's a top 5 running back this year, and then you got 2 top 5 receivers in Ferguson, who's a really good tight end thrown into the mix as well. Dak has been surrounded by the weapons that he needs to succeed, and he is succeeding with those weapons. Defense is bad. Now, granted, they are a top 10 defense against the run since the Quinnen Williams trade.
Yes.
That has given a little bit of a spark. Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, the rest of the front, they've gotten much better against the run. They're still Swiss cheese against the pass because they have no pass rush. Sans Micah Parsons. Those DBs are not good in coverage. They just looked good because of the pass rush that was there in Dallas. But Dallas is going to finish right around 500. I wouldn't be surprised to see this team finish with an 8-8-1 record. Maybe they go 9-7-1. But here's the thing. San Francisco sitting with the 7 seed in the playoffs right now. They have 9 wins.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I don't. Dallas is not going to win enough games to make the playoffs, but I think they will go around 500. Maybe the most lethal offense in the NFL right now.
Agreed. They're dangerous. Maybe Jerry does know
I'm not going to
something.
definitively say it, but Cowboys might have the best offense in the NFL.
I could see it. Williams, first touchdown, McCormick says.
When fully healthy, when you got CD and George
Pickens they're dangerous.
Out there, you got Javonte Williams and Jake Ferguson. This Cowboys offense is not to be taken lightly. But
no.
Huge win for the Cowboys. Maybe one of the first times ever I've been rooting for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I was like, hell yeah, beat the fucking Chiefs. Give them another loss because, that was just refreshing. It was refreshing. And I don't like the Cowboys by any means, but it was nice to see them get the win here. Put Kansas City in their place a little bit, even though it was a really close game. This was such a fun game to watch, though.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
This is what you want out of Thanksgiving football.
Exactly. And then came the night game, our first blowout of the weekend. And Joe Burrow is back, and he does not care. He doesn't care what the record is right now. He doesn't care about anything because Joe Burrow went 24 for 46, 261 yards, and 2 touchdowns for himself. Joe Burrow just kind of reminding everybody, like, hey, guys, when you're talking about the best quarterbacks in the league, don't forget about me. I'm still right over here, and I'm still that damn good. Joe Burrow had an incredible day, although it was against the Baltimore Ravens, who have looked they've looked miserable this season. Really looked miserable, and that defense hasn't done themselves any favors. Lamar is doing whatever he can, and it's just not enough. That defense is about as Swiss cheese comes. And Derrick Henry, you only give the man 10 carries.
Yep. That's not a
great
sign. Not a good sign.
No.
And he averaged 6 yards a carry on those.
So just help me out with math because I'm bad at math. So you have to get 10 yards to get a first down, right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, so if Derrick Henry is averaging 6 yards a run, if you run the ball twice, that would be a first down theoretically, right? Do those numbers match up?
Yeah, based on averages, yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Anyway.
Interesting thing here with this game, AJ, though, is the Baltimore offense was less of a story, or their defense was less of a story than their offense.
For sure.
To me, story of the game here, and it wasn't even Joe Burrow. This Cincinnati defense. And God, I can't believe I'm even saying those words. That was the huge difference maker in this game. Cincinnati's defense showed up. They showed up. They showed out. They had a phenomenal game, their best game of the season. And they take home a huge win that they absolutely needed. They lose this game. They're virtually by all means eliminated from playoff contention. But guess what? They get Baltimore again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh spiraling. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, both sitting at 6-6. The Bengals at 4-8. Oh, wait, yeah, we have a 4-8 team that's still got playoff hopes alive, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals not because of a wild card, but because they could win this fucking division. I think they got one more game against Pittsburgh. They got one more game against Baltimore. Watch out for the Bengals. Watch out for the Bayou Bengals. Not the Bayou Bengals, but the Bayou Bengals. If you know what I'm saying.
Bengals.
Jamar Chase, he going to be there. T. Higgins gets back into this lineup, and the boys in Cincy might start cooking here. They might start cooking, and Baltimore was playing really well the last 4 weeks until this game.
They were. Yeah, really. And then this was.
They worked their way back into the division lead for a moment. Pittsburgh, I think, has no chance. I think they have no chance at winning this division. It's between Baltimore and Cincinnati, and whoever wins the game 2 weeks from now, I think, will end up in the playoffs off of this division. Both teams, I think, can be dangerous in the playoffs. If Cincinnati's defense plays like they did against Baltimore on Thanksgiving, watch out for that team making a run. If Baltimore's defense can get back to being kind of competent like they were the last 3-4 weeks before this game, and they weren't even horrible. They were just not great. I really think the division winner is going to be settled with who wins the game 2 weeks from now.
I could see it. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Go.
Notice I'm not even talking about the 6-6 Steelers, who are currently with tiebreakers sitting in first place. Because
they made a big move today.
Well, when you got the Boo Birds flying and you got Chance in the crowd shouting "Fire Mike Tomlin," I don't think things are going particularly well.
Well, how about we talk about somewhere else where it doesn't seem like things might be going particularly well? As the Boo Birds were out, the middle fingers were flying, and you would have thought Santa Claus was on the field with how badly the Eagles fans were booing halfway through that game. Bears taking.
They're leaving in the third quarter. Well,
were
halfway
they?
through the fourth, maybe. Third quarter might be another exaggeration, but they were leaving before the game was over.
Yeah. And then they stopped leading. Bears take this one 24-15. And, I know it feels like and looks like that the Eagles are imploding from within. And it does seem like there's something going on there, Noah. Would love if Pablo Torre would find out. But this hurts me so much to say. I want to be very clear about it, Noah. That might have been one of the best Bears games I've watched in the last 10 years. Like, that arguably against a team that's 8-4, against a team that, just won the Super Bowl. I know, again, they're on the downside, but damn, they looked good. And it was a defensive game more than anything, and a run game thing more than anything. I mean, when Monangai and Swift are getting 100 yards each a game, yeah, we're going to do good things.
And you're giving 40 carries to the two of them.
Well, yeah, we have our O-line's playing well, and the run game is incredible. The biggest issue I have with the Chicago Bears, and this is why we should have, done what every other team does and fire the head coach, fire the GM at the same time so that they can come in and bring a quarterback they want in. It's Caleb Williams, 17 for 36, 154 yards. Touchdown and an interception. And I mean, I like at this point in his career, I could give a shit less about the interceptions. How are we going 17 for 36?
Well, he's been a sub 60 completion percentage guy for his entire career.
Yeah.
That doesn't change here.
Nope.
Caleb Williams doesn't play a very great game. Yes, and here's the thing. Like, Eagles, they've got a really lethal pass rush and a decent secondary. They're not an easy team to throw the ball on, but
no.
Shout out to Ben Johnson in this one, coming in with a game plan that says, hey, we're going to run the ball damn near 50 fucking times on these guys. And the Eagles didn't have an answer for that. Because I think the Bears averaged, 5-6 yards a carry?
Yeah, about.
Yeah, and then Saquon getting the ball 13 times. That's I don't know why the fuck the Eagles have been limiting Saquon's carries so much this year, but they really have. And I think that's, to me, the root of their issues on the offensive side of the ball is give Saquon the ball fucking 22, 24 times a game. Like, why are you not doing that? He's your best player. Jalen Hurts is never going to win you a game passing the ball.
No.
I mean, I shouldn't say never, but he's usually not going to win the game passing you the ball unless it's off of some play action setup off of the run game. But if you're running the ball 17 times in a whole fucking game and 4 of those are, not designed runs, just Jalen Hurts scrambling, it's not really a recipe for success. And the Eagles are an interesting one because it's like, you're just waiting. You're waiting. What we've seen the last 2 years is it'll click at some point. But if it doesn't click at some point, the Eagles are going to be a first-round exit in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're looking at right now. This was the Bears' best game of the season. This was their
I would
best
agree.
game of the season. They're now somehow sitting as the 1 seed in the NFC. That's only going to last a week after they lose to the Packers in Lambeau. But, as of now, Bears are sitting there. Yes, McCormick, A.J. Brown being a diva. He always has been.
Yeah.
But they're also not throwing him the ball.
No. And that's the other thing. Like, I would understand like not getting Saquon the ball a lot if, Brown and Devontae were having, record seasons, but they're not. They're having average ass seasons. And maybe the Eagles felt like they were getting too predictable with Saquon, but as you're predictable on 3rd and short and 4th and short as well. Like, everyone knows what's coming and you have no problem pulling the tush push out whenever you need to. Like,
I think they're trying to limit. My theory is they're trying to limit the wear and tear, limit the reps on Saquon. They're like, okay, yeah, we're good enough. We'll win the division. They still got like 2 games up on the Cowboys, although losing to the Cowboys changes things a little bit after you lose to the Bears now. If they had beat the Bears, and you're sitting 2.5 games up or whatever it is on the Cowboys, even though they might have the tiebreaker, then it's fine. But we've seen a lot of games with Saquon's carries and touches only in the teens, whereas last year he was getting 25 plus a game. And I don't know if they're worried about burnout or whatever the fuck it is, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you're the Eagles, it's clear what works. Just give Saquon the ball 25 fucking times.
Or if you want to limit him, if you want to limit his shit, that's fine. Hand the ball off to someone else. The amount of stat sheets that we have looked at the end of games, Noah, and it has been Saquon Barkley with 10 carries, 13 carries, whatever it is, and then no one else is getting handoffs. Like, we're just abandoning the run game once we stop handing the ball off to Saquon. And I mean, yes, Saquon is arguably the best running back in the league, one of the best running backs in the league. No backup is going to be able to do what he does. But you just can't abandon the run game completely. I mean, that game was within grasp for the Eagles pretty much all night, and then they just didn't want to run the ball. Whatever. Anyway,
again, it just feels like to me like they're like, oh, we're saving him for his longevity of his career or whatever. But
again, run the ball. You can still. There are other running backs in the league. That's my point. You know what I mean? Like, they just abandon the run game when they don't run with Saquon.
Well, they clearly don't trust their backups or anything because they didn't give anybody a carry other than Saquon.
They're terrible. They're not good. If they do make the playoffs, they'll be a first-round bye. I'm calling that. I'm calling my shot now.
Yeah, I don't. And we've talked about it before. I don't know what the fuck's happening with this NFL season. I don't know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I have no inkling of what teams we're going to see there because before this last week, it's like, oh yeah, the Rams were looking really dominant, and and then they go out and lose to the Panthers this week, and we'll get to that here in a second. But the Eagles don't look like a super dominant team. There's no team in the NFC North that looks like a super dominant team. You got the Bears as the fucking 1 seed. I don't think anybody believes in their heart that the Bears are going to win a Super Bowl here.
Nah,
I don't think anybody. There might be some people, but I don't think a lot of people. If there's a very small portion of people who think the Bears are even capable of winning a playoff game.
But
they got the Packers twice in 3 weeks. Things will be set right here in just a moment. But on the flip side of that, the Packers don't look overly dominant. There's games where they fucking look flat. I mean, you lose to the Panthers, you lose to the Browns. Like, what the fuck's going on there? And somehow the Patriots look like the only team that
is doing anything.
The Patriots look like the only Super Bowl caliber team at this point. And I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card coming into the season. But the Patriots, in my mind, are the only team that looks Super Bowl caliber at this point.
The Rams do too. Anyway, next one on the slate, Noah, we've got Niners, Browns. Don't have a lot to say about this one. Niners went in, did their job. Shedeur looks like a 3rd round, 5th round draft pick, Noah. That's really all I got on this one. They spammed CMC. They spammed Kittle. Like, what else do you expect?
Yeah, Purdy didn't throw a bunch of fucking interceptions in this game, and the Niners end up winning. And they did win when he threw a bunch of interceptions the week before, but not by much. I don't know. Weird. Niners sitting in that 7 seed in the NFC at 9-4, which is crazy. Again, like I was saying, no team pulling away, and then you look at the NFC's record versus the AFC, and the NFC's dominating the AFC
Yeah.
for the most part. But the Niners don't look that good to me.
Mm-mm.
They're winning. I mean, the whole first 6-7 weeks of the season, it's like, oh, they're winning games,
But
but they don't look good doing it.
no,
Um,
they don't.
and yeah, they beat the Browns. Shador looked not good. Jerry Jeudy yelling at him on the sideline was funny because
That was awesome.
Jerry Judy's been ass this year. So,
What you gonna do?
yeah, I don't know. Niners win, whatever. That feels like every game they've played this season is I'm like, yeah, they didn't impress me, but they won.
Yeah, they didn't
He's
lose.
having a crazy season.
Oh, he looks incredible. Yeah, he looks great. Again, not much on this one. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Jacksonville wins 25-3. Shout out to Jacksonville, 8-4 on the season. They're playing their best football. Shout out to Liam Cohen getting these boys going. I really have nothing else to say. Lawrence didn't look half bad, but I still am waiting for. I hate to say it, I'm still waiting for that breakout game. That breakout game where it's like, oh, okay, this is the Trevor Lawrence that we've been promised.
Yeah, Jacksonville's been on their little roller coaster at 4-1 start, lose a couple games. Now they've won a couple games. Somehow now they're in first place in the division over the Colts, who are, well, we'll get to them in a little bit.
Ooh.
Fucking stumbling. I thought my bet was dead that the Texans were going to win this.
I thought it was too.
When they were 3 games back, but that's starting to look like more of a reality. They get the win over the Colts, and they play them again in 2 weeks. But Jacksonville's winning games. Liam Cohen, I guess, whatever you want to say about him, it hasn't been pretty for most of the season, but he's getting wins. And Duval. I don't know, man.
I hope that's his ringtone. You alluded to it earlier, Noah. Let's get into it. Texans beat the Colts 20-16 in Indy. Daniel Jones 14 for 27, 201, 2 touchdowns. CJ Stroud 276, 22 for 35, and 1 interception. But no, we've been talking about it now for the last couple of weeks, and really being able to put a clamp on this Colts offense. This Texans defense, bro. This Texans defense.
Well, and they've been good the entire season.
Yeah.
The offense just seems like they're finally getting up to a level of competency. I'm not going to say they look good, but this defense is what kept them afloat early on in the season. This defense is carrying the way for them. I think might be. I would say the Texans are a top 3 defense in the league right now, personally.
Agreed. I would agree. They look unbelievable, and that's what. Let's be real. That's what's been keeping this team afloat. Any other notes on that?
Yeah, I mean Daniel Jones playing through a fractured fibula.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I didn't think he was going to be playing, but apparently you can play through a fractured fibula.
Yeah, so I asked my wife about this. She spent some time in med school, and I was like, I've heard like you break a bone in your leg, and that is the worst pain in the world. And she was like, it can be. I mean, it's most likely a hairline fracture if he is still walking around and playing on it and stuff. Doesn't feel good. She knows about Toradol, so she said he's probably getting shot up, before and at halftime and stuff.
He was taking the Aaron Rodgers special, shot of Toradol and a couple perks.
Well, hey, he was coming off surgery this week. I thought he was going to be playing a little bit better, but anyway, we'll get to him in a moment. Shout out Perk Rogers. Anyway,
we're done with that.
Oh, did you have more on it? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to touch back on the AFC South there, and that the Texans have a very real chance. Again, they play, I think, the Jaguars one more time. They got the Colts here in 2 weeks on the schedule, and Texans could come away with the division for a third year in a row, and I think it's becoming more and more likely that that's the the reality, the chance that's there, and we'll see what happens. Texans continue to play good. Colts obviously seem like they're stumbling right now. Jonathan Taylor having an MVP caliber season.
Yeah.
Didn't have the best game, but he had 84 rushing. He had enough receiving yards to put him over 100 for this one again. He's got 30,000 touchdowns this year. If you drafted Jonathan Taylor in fantasy, you're feeling real good.
Yeah, you're feeling real good about yourself. You're feeling real good.
Especially because you probably got him in the second round.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, what could have been? Keeping it moving, Noah. Let's go to Saints, Dolphins. Dolphins starting to stack up wins, 5-7 on the season. They got a close.
What did I tell you when you said the Dolphins weren't winning a game this season? I said no, they'll win games.
All right. Well, they've won 5, so congratulations to them. Saints have won 2. This
I never said they were
one
of them. Good. I
Fair
just said
enough.
they were going to win games, but yeah, they've won a couple in the last few weeks.
Yeah, they've won a couple, and they have looked more like a football team. I'm not going to stretch it and say good, but they've looked more like a football team.
Yeah, they are a football team.
I'm not talking about relegation anymore with them, if that was a thing in football.
I think Devon Achane should be in the MVP conversation because it is most valuable player, and I know the MVP is never going to go to a 5, 6, 7 win team, whatever the Dolphins end up. But when you start talking about the most valuable player to their individual team, I mean, Achane's got to be in that conversation because Tua has another ass game against a not good defense in the Saints. The Dolphins barely win this, and then meanwhile, you got Achane just putting up top 4 or 5 running back numbers in the league when he is like the only option outside of Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
So shout out to Achane. But yeah, Saints suck. They continue to be feisty and keep games closer than they should be. They do have 2 wins on the season, but the Saints are really bad. Dolphins get a win. That's all I got.
Do you only has a couple games under his belt, but do you think Tyler Shuck is the guy going into next season?
No. I don't, and I also don't think Rattler is. I think the Saints are going to go draft another quarterback in the first round with a really high pick, and there's gonna be some really good quarterback talent in this draft.
There will be, maybe. We'll see. Next one on the slate, Noah. We had the Falcons and the Jets. Falcons lose 24-27 to the New York Football Jets. Kirk Grills going 21 for 33, 234, and a touchdown. Tyrod Taylor going 19 for 33, 172, and a touchdown. He also ran in for one. Fire everyone on the Falcons. Fire them all.
Yeah.
I know they've done this already a couple of times, but they need to do it again because this shit ain't working.
Yeah, no. Falcons signed Kirk to a really big deal. Not working out there. And then you go get Penix with the 8th overall pick. That's not working out. Obviously, he's injured now, but it wasn't working out before he got injured. And, I think it's time to blow the shit up with the Falcons. And it's tough, but they need to throw in the fucking towel and just reevaluate and rebuild. On the other side of that, Jets, did you not want the number 1 overall pick?
I appreciate the Jets winning a football game. Okay, I hope they win a couple more football games. Let me tell you, Noah, where the Cardinals are at draft stock-wise right now.
They've won 3 out of the last... What they start? 0-6, 0-7 they started. They won 3 out of the last 5. I don't know why. I don't know why. The Jets were literally like... Yeah, the rest of the NFL was like, here, have the number 1 overall pick if you want it. And the Jets are like, No, on second thought, we'd prefer the fourth pick, maybe the fifth. Um, I mean, shout out to them for keeping games interesting and
Yeah.
staying competitive here. But yeah, I mean, Tyrod Taylor had a fine game, I guess. And neither quarterback or offense looked particularly good. This was just kind of a shit bowl here. And
Yeah.
Jets are now a 3-win football team after starting 0-7. So
They are. They are. They have the same amount of wins as the Oh, funny we mentioned them, the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals lose 17-20 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after trying to stay competitive in this one through the fourth quarter.
very, very winnable game here, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, very winnable game, Noah. A very winnable game. We scored in the fourth quarter. We haven't done that in a long time. Leading.
Bam Knight had a nice game.
Yeah, Bam Knight looks really good, 11 for 62. I'm not going to complain about that. Michael Carter, 5 for 17. Trey McBride is the best tight end in the NFL. Whoop-de-doo.
You know what? That is the one thing that the Cardinals do have going for them.
That's literally the only thing. The only good thing I can say about the Cardinals.
They do have the most dominant tight end in the NFL. I will co-sign that.
And here we are, 3-9. There are no indications, no rumors, no comments being made that Jonathan Gannon's going anywhere. Or Drew Petzing or any of these people that are, quote unquote, running a football team.
Kyler will be gone.
Yeah. Yep. Kyler will be gone. That'll be good.
Cut, not traded, but he'll be gone.
Yeah, he'll be gone. I'm at that part of the season. No, I've just given up. Like, I don't know why I tune in for 3 hours on Sunday to be tortured like this. I don't know why.
Remember when you said this was going to be a playoff team?
That was me trying to be somewhat. I mean, but you look at us on paper again: Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Carter, James Conner when he's healthy. Like, this is a team, and the defense I knew was going to be weak, but still, it's an improvement from last year. It was a team on paper, and that's why we play the games, I guess. It's a team on paper that I thought could have that type of a season. I really, really thought that. The 49ers were going to take a step back. Thought the Seahawks would take a step back. Dead wrong there. And
no, they actually all took a step forward, and the Cardinals were the one to take a step back.
Yeah. And I just don't care. Like, I don't care.
You'll have a nice draft pick. With the Jets winning, the Cardinals might actually, you tank and lose out. You have a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Which will be used on a quarterback yet again, which is probably not what you want, because how many damn draft picks do you have to use on quarterbacks before one actually pans out?
A lot. Let me tell you, it's a lot.
But yeah, you do have Trey McBride. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., who actually had a decent game coming back this one.
6 for 69. I mean, 7 targets.
Yeah, and he wasn't dropping shit. And Michael Carter, in MHJ's absence, was playing really, really well. So you might have something there. Bam Knight's playing decent. Even if whether or not you do get James Carter back, that's another story. But yeah, I think there's some positivity to look forward to with cutting Kyler Murray. Yes, you're going to have to eat the cap on him because obviously he's untradeable because of his contract. Nobody wants to pick that up with what he puts out on the field. Somebody will pick him up after the Cardinals cut him, but you can save about half of that money, half of that cap hit on cutting him. I think it becomes like $22 million or something like that instead of 40 plus.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit better. I mean, that's enough money to go out and get a top tier defender or offensive lineman or something like that at their position. So
who wants to come to Arizona?
You know what? They're not in the worst position. They just have to play their cards right, which unfortunately they tend to not do. But
I feel like give me 3 more years and I'll be just as bad as Jets fans or
No,
Giants fans.
I think if you're the Cardinals, you keep Jacoby Brissett on staff and you draft another rookie. You cut Kyler. You do that going forward. On the flip side of this game, you look at Tampa Bay. They're struggling right now.
They are, yeah. They're not in a good place right now. Not in a good place whatsoever.
Last 3 to 5 weeks, not looking great. And you gotta start wondering, is this door open for Carolina to win this damn division? They still have, I believe they still have 2 head-to-head matchups against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. A lot of matchups. We had a lot of time for them, but
and as I said earlier, the most confusing team in the fucking league, the Carolina Panthers, and if they win 2 games against the Bucks, I think they're in the playoffs.
Well, Noah, speaking of the Panthers, let's talk about it. Rams, Panthers. I got to step away for a second. I'll let you get this one started.
All right, I will start this one out. Yeah, Rams, Panthers. If you had the Panthers winning this game on your bingo card, you're probably a liar or you know something deep down. But, God, the cardiac Panthers, as I keep calling them. They can lose to anybody. They can beat anybody. This is a very interesting team. Bryce Young, not asked to do a ton in this game, goes 15 for 23 touchdowns. Rams have had a really stout defense, but didn't show up in this one. And Chuba Hubbard somehow leading the way over Rico Dowdle, who, after Chuba Hubbard got like 6 carries over 2 weeks in his span, and it was like, oh, Rico Dowdle's running back number 1. Now Chuba Hubbard's back on the scene. Most confusing team in football, the Carolina Panthers are. But that was one of my – AJ and I did our show before the season started, one of my biggest hot takes. We did 3 hot takes that we were coming into the season with, and I said the Carolina Panthers were going to win this division. I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it even more than I was coming into the season. Not even so much of a hot take anymore. More of the Carolina Panthers look like a competent football team. They beat the Packers. They beat the Rams. They've beat the Falcons twice, which is whatever. That doesn't really matter. But watch out for the Carolina Panthers. They got some good receivers here. Jalen Coker having his first great game. He's been a guy who a lot of people have had eyes on from a fantasy perspective. It's never really panned out until now. But Coker has a great game. Tetaroya McMillan, T-Mac. Stop calling him Tet. Stop fucking calling him Tet. If you're going to call him a nickname, it's T-Mac.
T-Mac.
It pisses me off so much. Everybody out of the U of A circle is just like, oh, Tet. I'm like, no. I'm like, stop. T-Mac. It's
not that hard.
It's what he is. But yeah, no, there's some good young receivers there, and then obviously you got Raccoon Boy over there too. Sometimes doing stuff, not always. First round,
not really.
Kind of a first round bust, but he's still in the mix. And the Rams, who I going into this week was like, oh yeah, that should be the Super Bowl favorite. And then I'm like, well, maybe not. And we're just throwing more parity into this NFL season because it's like, I think Stafford's going to win MVP still, unless something melts down the stretch. This game wasn't his best, but wasn't bad.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, I got to go back and revisit that video before the season, AJ. The stream where we went over our hot takes going into the season. Our 3 hottest takes, and I said the Carolina Panthers are winning the fucking NFC South because it feels very real. It feels if they beat the Bucks in their first of 2 matchups, it's going to feel very, very real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to heat up there in the South, Noah. Cool. Let's go ahead and get moving on. Vikings, Seahawks. Wow, the Vikings really didn't do nothing. 26-0. A nice little blowout here from Seattle to the Vikings. Noah, Max Brosmer, not the answer for the Vikings moving forward if J.J. McCarthy doesn't work out. We found that one out today. 19 for 30. No touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Usually you're not expecting an undrafted free agent to be your answer.
True, but
yeah, it seems very clear why KOC just threw out a very clearly injured Carson Wentz to get more injured.
Yeah.
Holy
Makes a lot of sense.
shit. And yeah, I thought Rosemer was actually going to come in and have a nice game here. Yeah, it's not looking good. Part of that might be the 16 carries total for the entire team.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
good.
Obviously, Aaron Jones got injured. Aaron Jones fumbled. Rosemer, yeah, he threw 4 interceptions. Justin Jefferson, at one point in this game before the third interception, had, I think, 5 targets with 1 catch for negative 3 or 4 yards and 3 drops. He's fucking checked out.
Oh, he's getting traded this offseason.
Oh, he's so checked out. He doesn't even fucking care.
No.
And when I tell you, because one of those interceptions for Rosemer literally went off of Jefferson's hands into the defender's lap. And Justin Jefferson doesn't do that. He doesn't, like, you throw one right on his numbers, he's not popping it right up to the defender. Dude's fucking checked out. He's ready to get out of town. I got to imagine Addison's not going to be far behind him. It's kind of the culture that's been built there. Right? You have Stephon Diggs, and then Justin Jefferson comes in as a replacement. And then he was making comments 2 years ago about how I'm not staying here playing for an ass quarterback.
He said rookie. I want to go ahead and clarify that. He said, I'm not going to stay here and play for a rookie. And he technically didn't because JJ's in his second year.
No, and then... Well, that was last year before Darnold came.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And I was thinking he was going to be asking for a trade when Darnold got brought in, but then Darnold has the season that he does, earns his contract with Seattle, who, by the way, Darnold didn't even have that great of a game. Seattle's defense just absolutely snuffed this one out to the point where it didn't even matter. And now you're looking at the Vikings, who have on their quarterback staff a Carson Wentz who's, out for the year?
Yep.
J.J. McCarthy, who they are throwing injury designations on just because they don't want him fucking playing.
Yep.
And now you're left with Max Brosmer and whoever the fuck they brought in to be his backup. And Justin Jefferson was listed as the third-string quarterback going into this game.
Max Brosmer. Maybe they do not have a backup listed for Brosmer.
Yeah, well, because it's on a week.
That's right. You're right. My bad. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Seattle's defense has been very impressive to me this year. I think that's a huge reason why they're where they are in the standings.
They look good.
Now tied record-wise with the Rams and San Francisco. So these division games are going to mean all the world coming down the stretch here. And it's, Seattle looks competent. They don't give me the confidence that they're going to make a deep playoff run, but
no,
they're definitely a tough opponent. That's for sure. Can they string together 4 straight wins? I don't think so. Against playoff teams. But shout out to Seattle. They win this game without really needing much firepower from their offense. JSN under 25 yards this game. Darnold didn't really throw for much. But he didn't need to. They didn't need to. They ran the ball. Charbonnet continues to just somehow outperform fantasy-wise Kenneth Walker, even though Kenneth Walker is the number 1 back here.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, I will say I've been loving what the Seahawks have been doing all season, and just a nice little reset game for them. Glad Darnold got to take some reps off. Anyway. Keeping it moving, Noah. Buffalo Bills, Pittsburgh Steelers. Bills win this one 26-7. Aaron Rodgers 10 for 21, 117 yards, and made some comments after the game, maybe suggesting to some players on the offense that catch balls that maybe they need to hit some more meetings, read some more playbooks, and know what routes you're going to fucking run.
Suggesting? No, man. No, Rodgers directly calling out his receivers and just saying basically nobody runs the right fucking routes.
Nobody does
And
shit.
not something Rodgers is. It's not the first time that he's thrown like receivers or pass catchers under the bus or coaches.
Yeah, no, he loves it.
But it's also not something he does like often. Like
no, like he's got to. You're right.
Like that's the weird thing with Rodgers because I hate when people like obviously we talked about Carson Beck throwing coaches under the bus after one loss where he threw 4 picks and throwing wide receivers under the bus. The second time he threw 4 picks this season. Rodgers doesn't do this frequently, but when he does, he's actually usually right about it. He's not one who like usually deflects blame, but he will if he's like pissed off and it's actually warranted. And crazy to think that Pittsburgh could have had a combination of DK and George Pickens here, and then they traded George Pickens, and we might be looking at a different situation if Rodgers is throwing to Pickens and DK. But outside of DK, like who the fuck is Rodgers throwing the ball to? And he looked good the first half of the season.
Yeah.
It's falling apart in Pittsburgh. I mean, it's coming apart at the seams. Rodgers has a way of doing that to teams he's been with. And what I will say about him is he is toxic. He's a toxic fucking person. And that's bleeding through in the Pittsburgh locker room. The fans are pissed off. They're booing. They're calling for Mike Tomlin's head for the second year in a row. I think Tomlin might be out at the end of this season. And, the Bills get a win, and they're a confusing team for me because sometimes they look not great. And in this one, they looked decent, but not – they didn't blow my socks off. They just looked decent. They ran the ball a shit ton. I think like around 250 rush yards the Bills had.
Yeah, it was. They ran the ball very well.
Yeah, they just ground down the Steelers. They just ground them down the entire game. Josh Allen didn't have a great game, but it didn't matter because the running game was, whether it was James Cook or any of the other go down the fucking list of the Buffalo running backs, they were all having success here.
Yeah, they all had fun. They all had some fun. It was good. Next one on the slate, Noah, last one in the afternoon. We had Raiders and the Chargers. Chargers take care of business 31-14. Kind of a slow game, but then the second half woke up and the Chargers decided to win the football game. Justin Herbert doing his thing, 2 touchdowns with an interception. Same thing for Geno. Similar yardage, similar completions. This one was a nice one on the ground. Vidal with a nice small, what is that, 126-yard game, Noah? That's what a dog. He's really come in here and taken over when everyone thought that running back room was going to be decimated. So shout out to Vidal for being that nice little second breath of air for the Chargers. And I mean, it's the Raiders. Defense still looked really good, did their job. Get 5 sacks on it. Not a bad day. Yeah,
the Raiders are just they're not good. Geno's just not good.
He's just doing his thing.
Yeah, I mean, Vidal, big difference maker in this game. That's all it is. Chargers sitting at 8-4. They got a tough schedule down the stretch. I think they just got to go 2-3 in their remaining games to get a wild card spot. They might have a chance at the division. They're only 2 games back from the Broncos. Raiders are bad. They're bad. They're just. I mean, they're oh god, Genti not good in this game. He's had a couple. I'm not throwing in the towel on Genti because
he needs a better O-line.
He's had a couple games this season where he's like looked spectacular. And then he's had a lot of games this season where he just looks flat and can't get anything done. But you got to look at the Raiders' offensive line.
That's a great point, McCormick. That is a great point. You should start riling up Steelers fans. Start going into their comment sections and just dropping that on them. Oh, really get those fans riled up, McCormick. That'd be That'd be awesome. That was awesome. Anyway,
Granted, Tomlin did take another team back that lost a competitive game to the Packers. So
true. Also true. Next game on the slate, Noah, Sunday Night Football. Broncos, Commanders. Broncos squeak one away here in overtime. 27-26 Bo Nix, 29 for 45, 321 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Marcus Mariota. Is that how Chris Collinsworth thinks it's pronounced? What a dipshit. I'm sorry, but motherfucker's been in broadcasting for how long? Mariota's been in the league for how long? Won a Heisman and he can't do. And who, like, no producer has the balls to get in his ears and say, hey, actually, since you're on live television talking about this guy, it's Mariota, not Mariota. Like, fucking Hermione Granger's calling the game, dude. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, he's a bum. But Marcus Mariota looked good in this one, 28-50, 294, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Commanders did everything in their power to win this game. And I don't blame him for going for 2 there at the end. I think he kind of got to, especially just the way everything's been going.
Well, yeah, when you're a 3-win team.
Yeah, go for 2. Fuck it.
Hey.
What's a tie? What's a loss?
And now I haven't looked at the standings to see where the tiebreakers lie, but them sitting at 3 wins, they're probably sitting with a top 5 draft pick now.
Yeah, let's hope they can get another win, Noah. That'd be great.
Right. So then the decision becomes, either we're sitting with a top 5 draft pick or we knock off the Broncos here. I got a question for you, AJ. Are the Broncos the worst 10-2 team you've ever seen?
Ooh. What was that? What were the Bears that year Rex Grossman took them to the Super Bowl? Because I feel like they were 10-2.
They had. I'm saying team, not offense.
Oh, okay, got it.
The Bears had not an 85 Bears caliber defense, but they had a really fucking good defense that year. I mean, like,
you're right.
The NFC Championship game, the Packers only beat them 13-6. It's not like and that 13-6 included a pick 6 that Grossman threw.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
or 13-3, whatever it was. But
I'll say this. They are the worst eye test team that has had success since we started covering sports.
They're not good.
No.
Do you have any faith in the Broncos winning a playoff game?
Winning a playoff game, yes. Winning more than one playoff game, no. And faith, I think, is a different word. Can I see them winning a playoff game the way they play? Yeah, I can see Sean Payton whipping up a good enough scheme and doing enough, but
would you bet your hard-earned cash on a 2-seeded Broncos team as a 3.5-point favorite against the Chargers, Colts, Jags? If the Chiefs somehow stumble into the playoffs, I know the Chiefs are probably a different story, but this team instills no fucking confidence in me that they can actually perform well and win. I mean, almost every single win that they've had in their 10-2 record has been by 4 points or less.
Yeah. I was talking to this coworker in my office is a big Broncos fan, and I was talking to him about it. I'm like, how does it feel to be 10-2? I'm a Cardinals fan. I'm not used to that. And he said, honestly, it's kind of weird. I don't get how we got here. I really don't get how we got here. And I completely agree with them. I'm not sure I got here either.
They're terrible against the spread. I think they were 6-point favorites here against Washington. And I was so all over Washington to cover 6 points because I was like, Broncos fucking suck. But somehow they're 10-2. All right. Whatever. It is what it is. They are 10-2. I have no confidence in this team doing anything.
No.
And this feels Washington. Sorry. I don't blame them for going for 2 at the end. They got nothing to lose. They got absolutely nothing to lose. Like I said, they don't get that 2-point conversion. They're sitting in a top 5 pick. They do get it. They just knocked off a 9-2 Broncos team, and they can feel good about themselves. So it's a win-win for you if you're Washington there in overtime going for 2. Washington, you could argue, shouldn't have even let this game go to overtime, but
Nah.
Denver does. I mean, they look like a 500 team that somehow stumbled their way into a 10-2 record.
No, for sure. Yeah, how the hell do we get here?
I can still see the Chargers somehow winning that division, which isn't even hardly any better because the God.
And McCormick, there will be no Manning slander here. We appreciate Manning. I mean, it's a little delusional that, he played for you guys how long ago and you're rooting for an NFL team because of that. That's some SEC delusion right there, but that's just me personally. Anyway, Monday Night Football. Giants, Patriots, belt to ass, 33-15. Giants started off their opening drive on offense with a 3-and-out, and then they allowed a punt return touchdown. And usually you're not going to win many football games when that happens in the first quarter. And the Giants went on to prove that right. Didn't help that Younghoe Koo looked like me on a par 3 on one of the field goal attempts. And I mean, bro, I have not seen that much dirt come up from grass since I had a fucking 54 in my hand last time. Like have you ever seen that before with a kicker? Like I've never in my life seen a kicker just miss the ball unintentionally.
No, I like Younghoe. I was a big fan of him, and I was upset when Atlanta cut him, but it feels like that might have been for a reason.
I was live last night, and the first thing I said was the FBI's on his ass. Like, let's get an investigation over here. What was his point total? Like,
I cannot remember ever seeing a kicker not make contact with the football. I've seen a lot of bad kicks, a lot of shanks.
Yeah, and like
how do you not hit the ball? Like you just fucking kick the ground in front of. Like how does that fucking happen? Was he drunk?
I was listening to McAfee today because I wanted to hear, because if anyone's going to talk about kicking, it's gonna be him, And he gave like the most bullshit. Let me try to cover his ass type of response. Like it was rough, dude. But that was wild. Anyway, Giants still suck. That defense got just torn apart by the run game.
Should have waited a week to bring Jackson Dart back, or maybe 2. You had a good vibe going with Jameis there, and maybe the moral of the story is Jameis should have been your starting quarterback week 1 and should still be your starting quarterback. And then maybe instead of sitting at a 2-11 record, you'd be at a 5-6 record, because I genuinely think that might have been the case, because Jameis was not playing bad football, and he's got this aura, these vibes that he brings to the team. I do like Jackson Dart, but I feel like he had a good thing going with Jameis and should have just wrote it.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situations. I think he needs to learn how to get out of bounds. I mean, he got blown the fuck up yesterday, and that was a beautiful hit and everything, totally legal. But like, if he wants to be an NFL quarterback for longer than Tua Tagovailoa, he needs to start getting out of bounds.
Well, I think Jackson Dart's got Cam Scatterboo on one shoulder and Cam Scatterboo on the other shoulder, telling him the same exact thing that says, lower your fucking head into the defender.
Luckily they play 2 completely different decisions. They need to stop that. But
yeah, the Scatterboo on both shoulders was like, yeah, just lower your head and run the fuck into him.
Get that first down.
No, not even about a first down. Just lower your head and run the fuck into him.
Just lower your shoulder.
Any and all situations.
I love Cam. New England Patriots look really good. I mean, they should have gone belt to ass, and they went belt to ass, and they didn't. Like, they kind of took their foot off the pedal, in my opinion, in the second half there. But hey, you do what you got to do. Drake May looks great. The defense looks incredible. Special teams performed well. Fuck, are they doing it again, Noah?
I mean,
feels like they're doing it again.
Yeah, easiest schedule in the league this year. So
I know. That's what I keep telling myself. That's what I have to keep telling myself.
It's a factor, but it's at the end of the day, Drake May looks like a top 5 or 6 quarterback in this league already. I just don't know why the fuck they hired Gerard Mayo. Why would you not just Vrabel was, and I've said this before this offseason, I was like, Vrabel was the guy you wanted. He was available. You didn't hire him. You let him sit on his couch for a year. And then you go and get Vrabel. And holy shit, look what happens when you inject Mike Vrabel into this situation. And yeah, Drake May looks great. Mike Vrabel's got this defense looking fucking great. This looks like the best team in the NFL. It looks like the best team in the NFL. Will they win a Super Bowl this year? I don't know. There's a lot of parity in the league this year, way more than normal. Crazy shit could happen. But that crazy shit that could happen could be the New England fucking Patriots coming off of a 4 or 5 win season and then winning the Super Bowl the next year with Mike Vrabel in his first fucking year as head coach. And the next thing you know, we have another Patriots dynasty. We had about 5-6 years off, and then we're back to it. But yeah, the Patriots look damn fucking good. I don't know what else to say. Like, they look like the best team in the NFL. I would have said the Rams a week ago, but I would have said the Patriots were the second best team in the league a week ago. Rams lose to the Panthers, who the Patriots, by the way, blew out by like 40 points. Yeah, the Patriots look like the goddamn best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they do.
Drake May's playing incredible. Mike Vrabel's got this team just fucking firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else to say about that other than it feels like the Patriots are going to grab the 1 seed in the AFC. They're going to get that bye. And then you look at the rest of the playoff teams in the AFC and whoever they're playing in the second round of the playoffs, I think they probably get by just fine. And then they're in the AFC Championship game. And if the Chiefs aren't around, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, even if you look at the top AFC teams, I'm not seeing one that really steps out to me to beat the Patriots. And the Patriots are the only team that we see in the top 5 here.
Sounds like a great opportunity to find a prop bet that the AFC team will win the Super Bowl. And then once the Super Bowl comes around, just hedge that fucking shit.
Hedge the shit out of it. Yeah, I might sprinkle a little New England plus 1,000. I might sprinkle a little bit.
I mean, it's no secret the NFC's been
they've been the best.
Way better than the AFC. But I really think it's wide fucking open. That's what I've been saying like since week 5 or 6 this year. Is I'm like, what the fuck is this season? Like, everybody's beatable. Every single team in the NFL is beatable. The only one who seems like they may have some control on that is the New England Patriots. And I would not in a million years have imagined that's what I'd be saying going into this season.
No, not at all. Not at all. But no, that's the entire slate. You got anything else, college ball, NFL, before we sign off?
Hey, no. Go Pack Go. That's all I got, man.
I'll take Bear Down, Go Cats. Cats having a good season. We play Auburn Saturday. That'll be a good one. Number 8 versus number 2. Whoo! Gonna be heating up.
Auburn's not number 8.
Did they get dropped a little bit? That might have been off the last rankings.
They were like 23 or 24 in the last rankings. I think you're thinking about Alabama.
I am thinking about Bama coming up in
Bama's about 4 or 5 days after that Auburn game. But
yes, gonna be a good time. And UConn and Kansas going at it right now.
Yeah, all I gotta say about that is, we win those 2 games. Yeah, fucking keep Purdue at 1. Keep Purdue at 1. That's fine. Sure. Whatever.
Sure. Go ahead.
I don't care.
Go ahead. But hey, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. But with all that being said, I'm the Brofict one AJ. That's the Money Train Noah, and we'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.